Hello, everyone, and welcome to the weekly DeFi show on W.L.R.S. Radio. I'm David, and I'm here with Austin and Dylan. We have a ripping show for you guys today, including some games, DeFi news, project updates, and more. But with all that out of the way, let's get into it. And since it's our first episode, I think we should take some time and just go around and introduce ourselves. Uh, Austin, do you want to start?
Of course, I'm always down to talk a little bit. What's going on, guys? I'm excited for this podcast. I love this format. My name is Lame Hillbilly, or my real name is Austin. I've been in DeFi full time since January 15th. I run a protocol called Frozen Walrus, as you can probably tell. Yeah, that's kind of my experience in DeFi so far. Keep it short and sweet for now.
Very good. And Dylan, do you want to give us the lowdown?
I am Austin's brother. I have been in DeFi since, would you say February or March, Austin? When did
I,
I get in Snowy?
I think March was probably more accurate. I finally drug you into it.
Yeah, so March, Austin put me on to Jade Protocol. He put me
Oof.
on to, he put me
Poor
on to,
bastard.
what else did you put? There's another weird one you put me on.
I put you in
But
Wonderland, I
then,
think, for a little bit, but it was dying at that point.
Everybody
yeah,
was in Wonderland.
yeah, it's gone now. It's all gone.
That was actually my
Still
first.
there.
That was actually my first DeFi protocol, by the way. Was Wonderland.
Uh, so after Jade, Austin became, he was always involved in uh, Snow and Fox. And then he kind of took over Snow and Fox and hired me on to help out. And hold on just a second here.
Now you're full time.
Now I'm full time. I got really involved in the Discord situation, and then Austin said he was launching Frozen Walrus. I said I'm a rod. So I was working in a factory at the time, and it took up the bulk of my weeks and days. And then I made the jump 2 months ago, I think, to full time DeFi. Haven't made a dime
Big,
since.
the big jump, yeah.
Yeah,
It is.
haven't made a
Dave,
dime.
have you made the full jump yet? I know we had
No,
discussed it.
I'm not jumping, man. I'm terrified to make that jump.
It is terrifying,
But
man.
we could jump into it. I'm Dave, affectionately known around several DeFi projects as Space Games with Dave. I'm a graphic designer full time, and I do mostly design work on several protocols, including Grape Finance, Frozen Walrus. I just joined a new one called Vein Brains.
It's called what?
I haven't
Vein
heard of
Brains.
this.
This isn't a hard shill, so I won't stay on it too long. But I get around design wise, but I have not made the full time leap.
I know that it can be scary. I guess we could talk about that for a second. Is that being a project owner comes with its own set of risk and reward, and you know, recently, and actually, I wanted to discuss it. We can later on, Dave, whenever you gear the ship towards it. The regulations that are coming out are quite scary. Recently, they just took down a lot of Ponzi schemes, DeFi protocols that were involved in some type of referral program. And I can read some of the hot topics off of that later on when we have a little bit. But yeah,
Yeah, absolutely.
they are coming after it. And so, me as a project owner, like I love it. I live and breathe this stuff. Most of you all know that. If you've been in any of my protocols, this is what I love to do. But it comes with this risk that I make good money sometimes, and then like recently I haven't made any money.
Not a dime.
Not a dime, and I have a family to support, and so I totally understand the reservation of getting into it full time. I have house payments, bills, just like anybody else with a regular.
Yeah, bills. The bills are unreal. Like groceries, man.
God dang, man, these groceries are getting insane.
Yeah, like your kid wants cereal, you need to like remortgage your house.
Yeah, it actually is getting that bad, and I think with inflation and everything else we see in the market, it's all tied together, and it's just everything's getting ridiculously priced. It's hard to afford it, and I've only got a couple months of runway. It's not like I came in this with a lot of money as some people do, or I haven't been in it as long as others where I had bull cycles to kind of pad the bear cycles. I kind of launched in a bear cycle, so Wasn't the smartest move, but it is something that I love, and I am so proud of myself for doing it because there's a ton of people that just won't do it. And this was my dream, right? It was my dream to be financially independent. It was my dream to work in some type of tech field, and to be able to come in here and launch, Walrus Radio and Frozen Walrus and Walrus Anglers Club and all of this stuff, and have this community that backs me and supports me is, it's an appreciation I have that I don't think that I could display properly. I just, I'm just so blessed. It doesn't always equate to dollar signs, but it is quite thrilling to know that. I think Dow King calls me a cult leader. But
it's definitely more fun doing work in DeFi and crypto compared to a regular job. There's so much less
constraints,
unnecessary red tape you have to go through. You don't really have a boss per se. I mean, there's the founders and stuff, but
I do.
You're making
Yeah, I do.
You're making
is a dick.
logos. You're making logos for a walrus company. It's I had looked back on a situation where I was like, holy shit, this is wild. I have this product that was doing so well, Frozen Walrus, when it was doing really well, and I was sitting here giving away a rooster NFT, and it just hit me that it was holy shit, this is my life, this is my job.
A relatively expensive one, if I recall.
It was $800, and I'm like, this is what I do, and there's no constraints in crypto. The only constraint is the one of your development team or whatever other bottleneck you have. But this gray area of finance is ever growing and expanding at an exponential rate, and all of these regulations and all these people and all the opinions, it's so fast paced, and it can be mentally taxing. And maybe we can talk about that, about my woes.
There's definitely extreme burnout. I started working on projects in January, and I've seen people just kind of come in and go out, and just they're totally burnt out after 3 months.
Yeah, I actually recently,
even if you're making good money, you get so burnt out.
I recently hit a heavy burnout. I've tried to be pretty transparent about it, but when Walrus actually tanked, and this is another thing as a project owner, is that nobody's going to be backing me or anything else. I have to be available. And when Walrus had its first big bank run, I had to step back to myself and think, holy shit, is this really worth it? People are losing money. Am I ready to do this? Am I representing the community well enough that I should have this job? And so it was scary thoughts. And then obviously the amount of time that I put into this, I was working 18 hours a day for the first probably 4 or 5 months. And it got to a point where I was not spending time with my family, not going out. I still have problems not going out. I just stay at the house all day.
Right, and
I can't get him over here.
You still have issues too, where you're I have tons of work to do, and you just sit there and you just stare at the screen and do nothing for 3 hours, and you're oh crap.
And I think that's what other project owners have experienced, especially in this bear market, is they're not making any money. They're probably burnt out from trying all kinds of stuff. And they just don't find happiness from it anymore. And I can't blame them. But even in my worst times, right, even when it got absolutely awful, my fiance had asked me, she said, do you still love it? And I said, yeah, this is fucking amazing. That I'm able to do this. I never thought, I'm just a hillbilly that's never been on a plane. I never thought I'd be running a DeFi project that had, multi-million dollars in it. Right. And so, of course I still love it, and I don't want to go anywhere. And in fact, this is the best time to build as a project owner, because our prices are already so low. Me and LB from Grape were talking about this. No matter what we implement, it can't do much more harm, right?
Right.
You say that.
Your holders are holding. There's always more harm, right?
Yeah.
There's always more pain. Of course.
But I'm saying the risk we can take developing new things, it's exciting, because X Walrus, which we are developing now, I wouldn't have probably implemented something like this when we were running above peg and doing really well and had I think we topped out at 9 million TVL. I would never implement this. But right now, why not try?
Fuck it.
Why
you
not?
Got more spaghetti to throw.
More spaghetti to throw is a good way to put it, Dave.
I wanna circle back because Austin mentioned it as well. So I jumped in full time, a couple months ago. It was actually my last day at work was 3 days before the bank run. I
Oh,
quit work. I quit work
Yeah.
on Friday.
what? Hold on, I gotta know. Like, what did your boss say when you were like, "I'm quitting," and I'm quitting to go into like crypto and DeFi, or did
Well,
you not tell him?
no, they all knew because the last like month and a half of it, I was on my phone on Discord, and we weren't even supposed to have our phones out. The place I worked, I had to put stickers over my camera and everything. So I had my phone out, and I was on Discord more than I was doing my actual job because it was such like it was factory work, so I had pretty much like I could do it without paying attention. Shout out OSHA. Um, so so 3 days after I quit, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, I'm riding high, man. This is my life now. Like Walrus is doing great, Narwhal's doing great, everything's going well. And then Tuesday came around, and we had the first big sell, and I was like, but a scratch.
But a
That went
scratch.
It's but a
Walrus.
scratch.
Walrus went quick. Like,
Yeah, man. The
Walrus.
bank run was vicious. It affected me emotionally. I'm not gonna lie to
Yeah.
you. It partially damaged me. But to talk about like what my employer said, I worked for FedEx as an operations supervisor, and when I told people this, it was laughable there because the mentality there, and the mentality of most jobs in most industries is that you work for 40 years, you put into your 401k, you claim Social Security when you're 65, and you retire with 500,000, right?
yeah,
I
and you work a part-time job to fill in the rest.
I will not do that. I refuse to succumb to that base, right? I just won't do it. And I knew that it wasn't for me. I was getting burnt out on a daily basis there, running as a supervisor and managing these people. And all these drivers and all the people that I worked with had been there for 20 to 40 years. And now their knees are blown out or their back blew out or they're damaged like physically. And so when they're retired, you just sit there and die, to be honest. And I just didn't want that for myself. It's not that I wanted financial freedom, it's that I wanted flexibility in my schedule. I wanted to do something that I was proud of. And I didn't want to be in the corporate world. The way I speak, the way I talk, the way I communicate, it doesn't translate well in the corporate world. And so, of course, they laughed at it. But the funny thing is I grossed out more than my manager in 3 months of running Frozen Walrus. And obviously I'm
But
not
not
making.
at Snow and Fox.
Yeah, not at Stone
You
Fox. I
went
didn't
three
make.
months without a paycheck.
Yeah, and I've put a lot of risk on the table, and anybody that knows me knows that even when I have these choices of being able to take more money or be greedier, I choose not to. And it's because I love this and I don't want to tarnish that reputation that I've built here. And so it was laughable to them at first. But secretly in their head, they're like, well, if he can do that, then like, why am I still here? My bosses were probably thinking, this fucking sucks. And some of them even got mad at me. And that's part of the process.
Yeah,
But
like you're not being a team player, and
yeah,
That's
God knows
always
what
what it
else.
comes.
I was
We're a
working.
family here. Are you
Or,
just gonna leave your
dude,
family?
family.
Yeah, I was working 12 hours a day on salary, no overtime. And it was exhausting, man. And, I was
If
good
we
at.
were a family, you'd bring an 18 pack to work for us.
That's right. So it was a nice transition for me, and when I went into it, I went balls deep, honestly, because I was like, I had no backing, I had no savings, I had no credentials in the space, but I knew I wanted it, so I just took that shit and ran with it. Right, I took every opportunity. I messaged every person every day that I could, and I made my staple was being lame hillbilly in the chats, and now I've got all of these opportunities from
So
busting
you've
my ass.
been,
Yeah, like
so you've
one
been
door
annoying.
closes and five open up.
Yeah, exactly, and that's how it is with DeFi. Is there's always an opportunity somewhere. As an investor and as a project leader, there's always opportunities in the space. There's always a way to will and deal it. I could be making so much more money than I am personally right now, which is $0. I could be making more money. I just choose not to because I wanted to focus on the investors that chose me over something else. So, not everybody brings those morals into this space. Sadly, I brush elbows with some shit people, to be honest.
Yeah, I've brushed some elbows. Let's dive into some games here. We're going to play two games right now. The first one we have dubbed technical versus emotional, and how this works was I gave Austin the name of a protocol a couple days ahead of time. He's had time to research it. We're gonna give the name of the project to Dylan right now. He's gonna take like 30 seconds, 45 seconds to go check out the website and make a gut decision on the future of the project. So then what's going to happen is you'll each make your predictions, and then we'll check back in on that project in about 4 weeks, 3 episodes from now. And whoever was right gets a point. And if you didn't get it right, well, no soup for you.
Super for you. All right, Dylan, let's hear it. What do you got for?
The project is DAO Maker,
Based off the name alone, I hate this project.
the
Um,
best the best IDO and IGO launchpad for crypto projects.
okay. Looking at the website you just sent me. Tokenizing the future. DAO Maker brings next generation digital financial solutions trusted by more than 450,000 users and startups. Discover our products today. Yeah, so again, I don't like the name. Just immediately. DAOs are they're kind of old news now, right? Like outside of like the DAOs behind projects.
Yeah,
Maybe
those
that's what.
DAO projects, right?
So let's see here. Let's go into their products. What do they have a coin?
Yeah, it's a
They do.
$1.44 at the moment.
$1.44. What's the coin do? Let me see if I can
That's the
find it.
big question.
That's good. Have to
There's so
time as
much
much.
information on this website. Yeah, no, I don't like this. I don't know why anybody. It looks like there's 28 million contributed, 98 million distributed, shit ton of users and startups. I don't like this. Austin, tell me about it. Why? What do you like about it? What do you hate?
So, this has been a project since February of the 21st. And I'll be honest, this looks like a huge VC funded project. They have massive following. They also have a ton of. So, their main feature looks to be a DAO launchpad. And I'm assuming their token is definitely tied into that by being able to yield off of these new launchpad products. They, of course, have the governance that you see in most DAOs. They have farming investing off of stable coins. And I think their big moneymaker here is their launchpad. So I actually think with the amount of VC funding it seems like they have here, that they have longevity in the space. And I say that because their token is down. It's at about $1.50 with an all-time high of about $7 closely after their launch. They're really not, from the bear market, they're not actually tanking that bad, to be honest.
Right, like everything's down right now.
Yeah,
so.
everything of course is down, but like the biggest move they had recently, they've seen these prices before, and they were at about $3 on May, and so they've came down to about half of that. But they've been here before in a much better market and had recently seen a big move up to about $6 again. So I actually think that this product and this will actually do well. I think that you'll see maybe not another all-time high, but I do think that you will see price appreciation on this. They do have a ton of backing. The product is advanced. So I honestly think that you will see price appreciation from this token.
Not financial advice, by the way.
Of course not.
We say it in the intro, but again, like every time anyone talks like yes, no, price, project, like it's a hard not financial advice.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
It's
I
fun.
wouldn't invest. I wouldn't personally. And just to clarify, I wouldn't personally invest in this. I'm speaking.
It's also not financial advice.
Yeah,
And
like
if
I
it's gonna
just.
be $10 next week,
Yeah, no, I have
then
no
you're good.
idea where it'll be. I am terrible at trading. I just think
Down.
that the amount of backing they have and the amount of projects they launched, they already have proof of market. They're on Ethereum. I think they're mature enough. I think that they'll continue moving. It doesn't look like they're stopping. So
Yeah, and as someone who's not playing the game and just sort of running that boat, I think you're both right. I think Dylan's right in the fact that the price is going to be down in 4 weeks. But I think long term, like, it's not a bad project. It's not going to be like in the shitter forever.
They've launched over 400 projects, and most of them
Too
are
busy.
up. But they
Busy.
are all complete shit projects that they've launched.
I just think this entire VC thing was probably like a 16-year-old in his basement. His mom's
But
like, "It's
you know
time
what?
for dinner." Hold on, mom.
You know what they? You know what they launched? Oh, never mind. This is
What?
not what I thought it was. Okay, I thought they had launched Symbiosis, and I thought that was what's that one bridge?
Golden Gate.
Synapse. I thought it was Synapse.
Oh yeah,
Never mind. This is just another shit product.
gotcha.
Are you changing your vote?
No. I still think that they're going to continue to have projects launch off of them. They look
Oh, you
great.
mean that one in particular that they helped start?
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Okay, got you.
Yeah, it'll be down.
All right,
The-
now we're gonna go ahead.
The bear, it takes everything down. It won't quit until it's done.
The bear has no friends.
The bear has none.
Jay Powell, best friends with the bear.
Besties.
All right, we're gonna jump into the second game here before we get into some news. It's pretty simple. Guess the price, up or down. I'm gonna list the coin, and we're all gonna go around the room, a theoretical room.
Wait, can I ask a question first before we start?
Yeah.
When is Pal's next rate speech?
October.
October.
It does one a month, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is.
You know what it's gonna be.
I do know what it's going to be. So I'm gonna base it off of that. So I just wanted to make sure.
All right. Yeah. So not a week from now. That's the price, up or down. I'm gonna go through a few coins here. I'm gonna tell you what the price is right now. If you want to get your coin market caps loaded or anything to look at charts or decks, whatever you use. And then you're gonna make a guess on if it's gonna be up or down, and why if you choose. And then you each get a point if you're right, etc.
Give me the points.
So the first one would be BTC.
All right, I'll go first.
And let me get the price. You can go if you want.
What is? Hold on, I need another price. I could look it up, but
19,469.82.
hot take. I think it goes up. I'm always bullish. I'm always optimistic on this market.
Is that based on emotion?
Of course. Of course.
We just played that game. That was my job.
No. This is based off full on knowledge.
So you're gonna say up.
I'm saying up on Bitcoin for sure.
Booking
Okay.
it.
All right. Oddly enough, I also think that Bitcoin will go up. Just to circle back to the emotional part that I just played in the last game, Dream Believer R58TT7 on CoinMarketCap said most don't know that the bear market ended on September 24th. Just mark this. We're 4 days out of the bear market according to Dream Believer. We're going up.
Keep believing those dreams. Hard lies.
I'm gonna say we're gonna be in 21,000 range.
What was that woman that does the Twitter thing? She does it off of what?
Marin,
She does it off of moon cycles?
love her. Yes, she's
Oh,
right.
yeah, I
A
saw
lot.
that.
Marin.
I'd like to speak to the moon every once in a while.
All right. Well, I'm looking at the chart and I see 7 days ago, which I think was actually right on the dot to the end of the Powell speech. Very close to it. It was 18.5, and I see it reached another high on the 27th when it broke 20K, and then it came back down to the 18s, climbed up again 20, and didn't quite meet it. I'm gonna go down. I think it's gonna be down next week.
Ever the
I also wanna
realist.
I don't want to be contrarian because both you guys went up, but
You have to be.
I'm going straight off Dream Believer. He said the bear market ended on September 24th. So
you should get Dream Believer to like do some like
TA.
astrological readings on different stuff.
I'll see if I can contact him.
All right, the next token we're going to do is Avalanche, home of Frozen Walrus. And it's currently at 1727.
So I'll be honest, I am extremely bullish on Avalanche. Obviously, that's why I build on it. I know they had some recent FUD, but I don't think it's impacting the price at all. I think it's completely market sentiment. At $17, it usually toys around here before it moves back up. I'm going up. I'm telling you, I'm optimistic about everything.
Yeah, I don't think the FUD you were talking about, it seemed completely orchestrated. It didn't feel real to me when that all came out, so I never paid it much mind. Um, AVAX moves with the rest of the market for now, but I think eventually when more subnets are introduced and everything else, I think it'll be up. But I'm gonna say it's gonna stay fairly stagnant. I'd say this time next week we're still looking at the 16 to 18 range. So I'm gonna say right where it's at now.
You're saying the same, but it can't be the same. You're saying it's going to be
You have to
17
go up or
fucking
down.
37?
Well, then I'll say down.
If he says 1727 and wants to stick with 1727, I'll give you 5 points.
Oh,
If
deal.
it's exactly the same.
1727. Go look at what it was last week.
Listen, I'm the bus driver. I can make up whatever rules I want.
That's
This
true.
is Calvin Ball land.
That is a pretty sharp.
And I also don't. You're not gonna get no 5 points.
Damn
Hell
it.
no.
Then I'll say down. Down.
Oh shit. All right.
Change your notes. Final answer.
Down. I'm gonna go up. It's gonna follow Bitcoin some up and down, but
I think it moves a little bit different than Bitcoin too.
It just had a dip into like the 16s, and it has a pretty hard support there, and resistance in the $18. So like I think we're closer to the support, the short term support. I'm shit at technical analysis, by the way, too. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I'm awful at it.
But I think up. I'm just looking and thinking up. Next coin is Kadena.
Let's go, Kadena! So obviously I have a little bit of bias in this, but I do think Kadena.
$39.
It's $1.39 right now.
Yep.
I actually think Kadena. I'm going to say up again. Again, I'm an optimistic person, but Kadena is, to me, Ethereum just stopped proof of work, and I think Kadena has the funding, the team, and the chain that can survive the proof of work experience that we're going through after the Ethereum merge. I think it's a very good blockchain, and I think that there's going to be a lot of builders come on soon with it. So I'm going up. I know it's only weekly, but $1.30 is so low. Dylan, what do you think?
I think we were at $1.38 last week, so we're right in that range of, where we are. It looks like it had some crazy movement throughout the week. Maybe that was due to the merge. Either way, I think that overall the merge has been a failure, just in my opinion, and that proof of work is not going anywhere, and the coins that require proof of work will continue to go up or at least appreciate over time. So I'm going to also say up.
Up only, boys.
All right, I'm going down on this one.
Shit.
I think the people that are mining it are going to continue to sell
Dump it. Now, Kadena does have on their local decks that they built, they actually do have single staking for Kadena. So there is a potential to keep from sell off. Bitcoin does not have that, obviously. But Kadena
What do you
also know absolutely nothing about Kadena. I know it starts with a K. That's where my experience leaves. The last one for this round is BNB, which is 282.48 cents.
I actually think it's going to go down. 282 is kind of high for it right now with the current market conditions. I actually think that BNB will see a downturn. But BNB is a hell of a chain. They have probably the most utility out of any blockchain ever created that's currently on the market right now. So I think they're going to be fine. But I do think that it will go down over this week.
Yeah, and once shitcoin season turns up, ooh,
Right.
you're gonna want to be holding some of this.
So I disagree. I think
I don't know.
with
People
the
love shitcoins on BNB. They just
oh
they
no,
keep
no,
doing it.
not disagree with you. I agree wholeheartedly with that. Once the casino opens back up with the shit coins, it's gonna get wild quick. Um, I think next week it'll be down from here. They just introduced the Luna Classic burn. I don't think that's gonna go as well as they think. I think people will abandon BNB in the short term. But as Dave just mentioned, the shitcoin casino, as soon as people start building those again, BNB is going to skyrocket, obviously. So down is my answer.
I'm also gonna go down. It's sort of in the opposite of where AVAX was. It's sort of at a local resistance or near it on the 7 days. So I'm gonna go down on that. And then I didn't even write down your thing, Austin. I was too busy in La La Land.
I said down.
All right.
That
We're
unanimous?
gonna yeah. That was the only unanimous decision between
Take
so it's a
notes.
wash
BNB's
either
going
way.
down.
It's gonna be like 350.
Yeah, we're gonna start. We're
that
starting the bull market right here. In
According
WLRS
to
radio.
the Dreamweaver or whatever,
Dream Believer, yeah.
Dream
He's where I
Believer.
get
Yeah.
my source. He's a random. You can find him on the Bitcoin page for Coin Market Cap. He's the first comment. He's just I've never heard of him before today, so
That's CZ's ult.
probably. Yeah, go Dream
Uh,
Believer. Thank you.
hot tips.
Hot tips.
All right, we're gonna jump into the news and updates and stuff. I think the first thing we're gonna want to be talking about is how hot, if they should be hot, these liquidity managers, price stability managers. The thing that Horde's using that they're now selling as a service, where um, it seems that liquidity managers or price stability bots have taken the DeFi world by storm. Multiple protocols are touting their benefits after the ongoing success of Horde's liquidity manager, which holds the price, I think, at like $99 to $100 or something like that. I don't know. Many protocols have implemented these or similar systems, but poorly educated the communities on the benefits and limitations of those systems. So,
Yeah,
Austin, what's your take on these
I got a hot
liquidity
take.
things?
I got a hot take on it. I'll be honest, and I've spoken about this before. And let me start by saying this is no slight to Horde. Horde's doing very well. They have their own management system on it. They've educated their community on it. It is a node protocol, and it is working for the time being. And I don't know what it will be in the future. Their past performance is excellent, but for me, I think that anything that artificially backs a price will be maliciously taken advantage of in this space. I have seen DeFi in its worst and its best, and I know that people will always take advantage of a backing price. They just will. And eventually, money runs out. You can only cycle it for so long that when there's no new money coming in, we saw this with liquid capital, right? And when it hit the bottom and there was no buy pressure, what happened? You have to assume that everything that's ever released as a service or just as a new product, it will never always work as the best case scenario. It almost always will test the worst case scenario at some point. It's just part of DeFi and the amount of investors and liquidity we have in the space. And so for me, liquidity managers, I would never use them. I test them similar in the Tomb Fork scene to what Toxic Deer did, which is run a bot that bought under peg and sold above peg. But every single time it was implemented, it was sold and dumped into at a massive amount. And eventually the treasury ran out of funds to back the price, and then it died again.
They had to shut it off.
So to me, liquidity managers just don't work. I don't think I would ever implement them into a tomb fork. And yeah, I think that Horde's a special case, but selling it as a service, you know, hopefully other protocols can take advantage of the success that Horde's had, but I don't see the benefit of introducing it to my protocols.
Yeah, and I think it's very protocol specific on the type of success a protocol sort of can have. Like if you look at tomb forks where, everybody's supply is mostly liquid unless there's some kind of lockup, right? There's so much more tokens in play, so much more money that's swinging back and forth. Like Horde, you lock up a significant amount of investment ahead of time. You can't take that out, willy nilly. So they have sort of that level of support. They also have a limit on the return on the tokens. So like you have to be careful in how you'll implement it. And like there were a couple rebase Titano forks that both put in some sort of price support feature. One was actually, I believe, the Liquidity Manager, which was Avion Finance. They launched, like you said, everything's going well, and then they had to make the hard choice to shut off their Liquidity Manager. They also shut off trading at the time, and they were gonna, come back, make a V2 of the token, and relaunch the LMS. They eventually then decided that the LMS was just getting drained too fast because when you have the winning horses, you're not going to go bet on a different horse, right? But imagine everybody sort of knowing which horse is going to win. You know what's going to happen. You're going to invest appropriately, and that's why it's not working with these more liquid projects.
Yeah, their education is not there. People underestimate the benefit of education in DeFi, and a lot of protocol owners will make the effort to buy marketing, to buy a product, to invest heavily in their own project, but then they're just like, hopefully the community gets it right, or they're not good communicators, or they don't have the right people in place. And almost anything you implement in DeFi that's new, that hasn't been tested, if you don't educate and build a narrative around it, you are 100% guaranteed to have a division in the community, uneducated folks that don't know how to invest in the product as it's intended, and you will see the worst case scenario much faster than if you had educated them.
Right, and like I think with new stuff too, you have sort of that like untested waters. So you have your more experienced investors who, if you launch a Tomb fork or a DAO fork or any kind of project today, you kind of know what sort of cycle it's going to go through. With something new, sort of nobody knows how that's going to work. So that's why you see these seasons, right? You have something brand new in the space. Nobody knows exactly the best way to pull as much money out of it as possible. So it ends up working for a while, and then you have this massive season where everybody and their uncle makes one. They copy the code off GitHub. They get a logo off Fiverr, and they're off. And then, but once people figure out, oh, it's going to do this and this and this, it doesn't work as well.
Now, Avion Finance, you were just talking about. How do I know them?
Well,
That
they were in
sounds.
Liquid Capital's Discord,
Uh,
throwing some shade.
I
oh,
bet they were.
that is interesting.
You
So
never ever in DeFi, and you'll never catch
don't
me.
mock people. God
You'll
bless.
never catch me in a project that failed. You'll never catch me in their Discord ever speaking negatively about the project. You'll never catch me shilling my own project, because oftentimes in DeFi,
We shut that down actually because they
yeah,
were during the collapse of Liquid Capital. We had some of our community members saying, "Oh, take your money to Frozen Walrus," and I made an announcement. Don't do that. People lost money. They're not interested in another project right now. So,
yeah, man, like there's a grieving process to losing money in DeFi.
100%, especially one like Liquid. That was hard for everybody.
Yeah,
I mean, Dave, you can probably attest to that, but you probably heard from more people than either of us did. Uh, so yeah, just no, don't like you never
Like,
know what kind of position you'll end up in, especially running a project. I mean, we've seen it 100 times.
well, the thing was like a very similar project. It was a rebase. It had, that thing in it, the liquidity manager, and they didn't learn from our mistakes. We obviously had the whole Eric drama, um,
Right. That
but
kind of
like
distracted from the liquidity management system and what was
before any of
happening.
that, we shut that off. Same reason they decided to shut it off. There's too many tokens being printed for what the treasury could put back into the buyback bot, or the liquidity manager, price manager, and so it was just getting drained. That you make the same exact mistake. Like, don't do that. If you see a project go down for making a mistake, don't make the same mistake with your project.
Agree.
Dissect it, figure out what you could do differently. Don't go down the exact same avenue.
People
That's
don't understand
insane.
the cycle is that this is DeFi and this is the innovation that starts and it's much more fast paced. And whenever something's implemented, someone is going to fork it and then someone is going to try and do it different. Sometimes you'll have varying, success rates with that, but everything is always a fork of something else. Tomb was a fork of something else, and that is why this space is so fast paced. That's why this space is ever advancing, and that's why I love it. The innovation that comes from this, where people say, "Look at this problem. How do we fix it?" Right? And they look at it, they try and fix it, and then guess what? There's still more problems. There's always going to be problems. Everything you implement
It's
in DeFi is a double-edged sword. Everything that is intended to have a great effect will also have a negative impact to some extent, somewhere, somehow, because we run in a micro economy whenever we launch a project. And so, yeah, it comes with its own set, and that's part of being in DeFi. And then also the culture behind picking up a project when it's succeeding and then dumping a project when they have to pivot or implement something new or have a low token price like Walrus. It just happens. It's part of being in DeFi. And yeah, that's why I don't
Yeah,
tout
this
Walrus is the best thing ever and you should come invest in it. Like, we're going to go through exactly what we're going through right now as expected, and we're going to keep building. And this is where you look at the teams that are implementing this stuff and that are still building and that aren't going anywhere and that, continue to put the community first and try and build something special. Those are the projects you get behind because their token price may be down, but they're going to be building something that innovates somewhere, and you will find success in that project better than trying to find a new rugged project. That's what I think.
right, and also like if you take a look at how the communities handle things, like if you build a good community, like you can take some turbulence. If
right.
your community is already kind of on the rocks, like you're not there enough, or there's just a lot of stuff going on with your community, like a little bit of turbulence can rock the boat a lot more than a strong community.
Well, if
Agreed.
Liquid Capital, had lasted a little bit longer, they were already developing that community. They were reaching
And
out to real
I think
world
too,
companies.
what happened with that is
Allegedly.
people were super pissed about like the orbital dex takeover thing.
Yeah,
We had, I think, a ton. I mean, I don't know exactly, but I think there was a lot of super pissed off orbital people. It just they weren't in a good mood,
no, they
that
were
long.
ready for that to happen.
That
They're just,
was,
waiting.
Liquid Capital, and I'm sure you know this, Dave, and, I could speak a little bit more intimately about it now that it's been so blown over. It was going
Yeah,
to be
we never
something.
really discussed it.
It was going to be something entirely different than what it was, and I fear that Eric saw the money grab opportunity of a rebase protocol and their success in the market at that time, and they changed it. But LB and NB had developed something completely different that was going to benefit new projects launching via them in a launchpad scenario and allowing them to rent liquidity pretty much for their new upcoming project. If I'm not mistaken, I could be, but that was something that I really liked, and it turned into a rebase mechanism because I think that Eric saw the potential and saw the coattails of other rebase protocols, and they were like, "Yeah, we can get a lot of money for this," and they did. And Eric, of course, did what he did, and I'm sure he'll find legal action against him eventually. But it's that's how DeFi is. Shit moves real fast here. If you don't have time to invest into it, you will get left behind quite fast.
And you
Agreed.
gotta stay up to date, like in the Discord servers, like for projects you're invested in. Like check that twice a day. Like
Right.
a
Yeah.
lot of times there's nothing, but like stuff happens and it can happen quick, and it's 24/7. So you really need to be, picking your projects carefully and making sure that you can stay up to date on all those projects.
I mean, just 2 weeks ago, I was in the Snowy Owl Discord, and I mean, literally 2 weeks ago. Hey, I've been away from DeFi for a long time. What happened to my investment here,
And
brother?
Snowy was months ago. Like Snowy was.
Brother. Oh man, that was I'm tired of explaining it in that Discord, but just go read the announcements. If you've stepped away for more than a day, go check the announcements before you go ask questions like
And
that.
that just shows you, like, people may think, and I don't know how many people think this, but they may think my job's easy or whatever else, but they don't see the back end work that I put into this and how much content I produce to try and educate the masses, that are anybody that's invested in my protocol, that I try and relay through Twitter, through Medium, through YouTube, through live streams, through this, even this format, through Discord. Like, I try and reach everybody, and there is still people that refuse to read, that refuse to be invested in the protocol by time. And those are the people that get hurt the most usually. And it sucks because, like, I don't know how to fix that. I would love to. But yeah, I guess it's a little bit off topic, but it's still something to be said.
No, I mean it's good. It's all good. And you just did a Twitter Spaces. Like think about that. Like I thought Twitter was dead
Yeah.
December last year before I was like in, any significant amount of like crypto stuff. And then you find out that Twitter is like it's like the holy grail for people getting together, and having information on crypto and NFTs. It's like
It's huge for NFTs.
why Twitter?
I don't know.
Twitter was dead. Like
It is.
I mean, it's
It
there.
is decrepit. The amount of influencers. That's why I fucking hate marketing. Is that the amount of influencers there that just bought their shit? They just, bought accounts, and then they say, "Hey, $500, and I'll tweet you." And I have 20K followers, and like 19K of those are like completely fake, and there's no engagement. It's a weird
We
space.
had a giveaway bot on our Twitter, our Walrus Radio Twitter, which has up to almost 40 followers. Thank you, everybody.
Shill it.
Follow the Twitter.
If you are still
Follow the
listening,
Twitter.
if you are still listening, go and follow it and show that you're supporting this type of content, so that we know that this is what you guys like. So go and follow that Twitter.
But even with such a small Twitter, like someone found a way in there to talk about their giveaway on our giveaway post. It's like, ugh.
Yep.
It's slimy. There's
It
no
is-
other word for
There
it.
is some slimy action. If people saw the amount of DMs I get about weird shit, like
If we get good ones, we should like,
talk about
Post
them.
them.
yeah, we should talk about them.
But there's people in Discord that run services to boost engagement, aka bot your server and make fake engagement. And I know for a fact there's a ton of Discords that use it. I've never used those services. I don't know. The only reason I could think of ever doing that is trying to get more money in your protocol for yourself. It's a ridiculous strategy, and I hate it. And it's one of the dark areas of crypto that I do not enjoy.
Yeah, and we'll talk about this a little bit later because we're gonna have a section on like sort of doing research, but that's part of the research. Like if you go in a Discord with, 10,000 members and there's only like 6 people ever talking and it's the same 6 people, like
Yeah.
there's a problem and there's not 10,000 people on that
Now,
Discord.
as of recent, Discord is fucking dead. Like crypto wide, almost every Discord I've been in has like 50% of the engagement as anywhere else. I don't know if you've seen it in Grape. I haven't been as active in Grape, but a lot of people aren't using. A lot of people are just exiting DeFi right now, obviously, until the next bull cycle,
Yeah.
so that they can be exit liquidity for the people that have been in it since the bear, and so the cycle continues.
The FOMO cycle, yeah.
And that's exactly how it'll be until the end of time. People's psychology in a mass reading is quite easy and interesting to look at.
All right, so we're moving on to our next topic. It should be pretty quick, but ice cream finance, rugged. I think they also had like a layer 2 of Sunday.
And they also had
Finance.
a auto aggregator similar to Magic.
Oh, really?
Yes, they did. That's actually what they rugged
Oh, yeah,
on.
yeah, yeah.
So
okay.
a little bit of background is the ice cream finance team launched around Grape. They were big in the Tomb Fork era, right around. There's a lot of old ones that are in the Tomb Fork era, like Snow Tomb and all of that. They launched, did really well, but they fell into the same pattern as all of their Tomb Forks and any inflationary token, is that there eventually was not enough liquidity to meet the demand or the supply. And so they had to launch a layer 2. That was at the time layer 2s were the hot thing. And then
Right,
layer
like
2,
2 ohm and
yep.
3 ohm and
And then
Arctic
that failed.
Fox.
And that failed. Then they launched an aggregator as a service, similar to what Magic did. Magic was much more successful. Shout out to Magic. I love Magic. And so they started doing that aggregator, and there was a lot of different protocols that like started investing. And then recently they started ghosting people like hard. They ghosted LB on some stuff, but what they did was pretty much rug that liquidity that was in their auto compounders and then dump all those basically all the tokens in there. So fuck them, just on the record. Any rugger, anybody that takes money from another individual maliciously, fuck you. Absolutely insane, psychotic mentality to try and take something from other people that are just trying to do better in life. Fuck you. I really hate it. I hate people that steal money. I hate that fucking action so deeply in my bones. So these people are cowards. They thought everything was cherry cozy. Everything sucked for everybody. Everybody in DeFi was fucking hurting. And they
We're still hurting.
And they didn't
Still
want
hurting
to
over here.
they didn't want to fucking build it anymore. So they said, "What's my next best thing?"
Instead of giving up and just refunding whatever treasury you have back to holders based on what you're holding, they're like, "No, I worked hard. I worked for this."
Yeah.
You know,
So
like your
they just rugged
investors
it.
didn't work for the money that they put in, right?
Right.
Yeah, they were looking out for Team One, and it gives a bad taste in DeFi, and that's why regulations are coming in, because people like these have no backbones, no moral compass, and they think that their best approach is that money is owed to them for producing a fork. Like, it's insanity, the mentality that you have to be them and build in this space for so long and then take their investors' money, what little left they had of confidence from these people that have been following them. You got to think, DeFi killed them like it did the rest of everybody in this bear cycle, and they had dedicated holders similar to how we have dedicated holders and people that believed in them. And those are the people they took money from.
Bullshit.
Scumbags.
I mean, I'm gonna make a video game reference here. Red Dead 2. I don't know if you've played it, but spoiler alert: it's the Wild West, right? And you have regulators coming in and taking out the bandits, right? When people say like DeFi is like the Wild West, it's 100% like the Wild West. You have people like Ice Cream Finance coming in, stealing money. They're stealing it early. They're stealing it late. You know, but the point is they're stealing it, and slowly this wave of change is coming. This wave of industry, this wave of adoption is coming, and there's gonna be no place for them. They're gonna get run out of town.
Yeah, and I think this is a good segment to talk about the Department of Financial Protection and Innovation. They just released a statement. DFPI,
We love a good department.
DFPI launches crackdown on crypto asset fueled Ponzi and pyramid schemes. And so on the third paragraph, it says the entities are alleged to have used investor funds to pay purported profits to other investors in the manner of a Ponzi scheme. And so what this boils down to is that they had referral codes. RIP to any referral codes out there. This is why I do not use them, because that is a Ponzi scheme. I won't say in all cases, but the mass majority, like if you have a referral program,
Like, are we talking like Drip here? Right?
Drip is
Not to name names, but I'm naming
in my
them.
opinion, this is Drip. They are fully based on referrals to get new money in, and they have full communities of referral program guys that sell their referrals to other people. So let's just take out referrals, right? And let's put in makeup. And so
It's
these
multi-level
people,
marketing.
it's MLM, baby. They have their core thing. And so they came from another referral code. It doesn't matter how you splice it. It's a fucking pyramid scheme. And everybody jokes in DeFi that there is this pyramid-esque thing, right?
Yeah, everybody says Ponzi about everything, but it's not.
But it's
like,
not, right? It's not, and it's because the U.S. dollar is technically a Ponzi in that respect. It's when the it's when the practices are malicious in ways like the referral programs that these companies use, and they did take down 11. They did cease and desist for these 11 LLC companies in California that were running these DeFi projects. And you know, it's scary as a project owner, but also I have a lawyer, so I'm okay.
I think good on you. Like, on the other hand, though, good on you for having the biscuits to like register a company into DeFi. I think that's like
It's scary,
a
man.
good thing. But like, don't do Ponzi shit.
Yeah.
I remember when Drip was like, it was at like $1.60 and it dropped to like $1.30, and it was like, and it was come back up after the dip, and it was like, this is your last chance to get Drip at this price, and then it went to 90. It's going up now. Don't miss the boat. It's like,
So I'll put it like this: is that
I've missed this Drip boat like 1,000 times, and I'm really happy. I missed
it's
that
bad
boat.
it's bad every time. But like to speak on the Ponzi thing that people say in crypto, let's look at it like this, right? We don't have a product to sell in DeFi, right? But if you always have to have new investor money to continue anything. So if iPhones right now just stop selling, if all Apple products just stop fucking selling, right? What would happen? Fucking Apple would go bankrupt and close down. They're not a Ponzi, right? So we offer assets with sets of rules as our products. And so, yes, of course, it takes some level of new money to come in, but it's how you bring in that new money that discerns it from a Ponzi-nomics to or a pyramid scheme to a project in DeFi, right? In my opinion, and this is just like my own level of thinking on it, and that's the main difference.
The difference,
and if you can bring in any kind of revenue from outside investor money,
and also outside revenue is a very important factor as well.
Yeah, but what happens if the internet shuts off tomorrow?
Doesn't matter, dude. I'm going to Shaw's and I'm stealing the oatmeal, and
Yeah, but the iPhones will still be there. The internet shuts down.
Yeah, but they won't be
Walrus.
working. They'll be as shit as Walrus is.
If the internet goes down for good tomorrow, like GG.
I'm going to get a Razer phone.
A Razer. They redid.
Shout out Motorola.
They redid the Motorola's.
Yeah, but they're smartphones. So
Man,
I'll go get the old one.
That old BMW that I had a Motorola car phone in it. I had a 2000 BMW, and it still had the car phone in it.
She was a tank.
Yeah, man. And it had a GPS that was outdated and was never updated. So, like, I was driving on grass the whole time. That was pretty cool.
In my show notes, which I know, Austin, you read like a madman. I know you read these show notes.
I think you had them memorized.
I actually rehearsed the show notes with my fiance. I read them all to her.
Wow. That's dedication.
Okay, so it says here, David says that there was some blacklisting stuff going on with Ice Cream Finance where they had blacklisted like a whale or something.
So this is where the infamous Brando was born. Brando was big in, I won't speak to his whole story. He can do that better, but pretty much he made a lot of money in some of the Tomb Forks early on. He got into Ice Cream Finance, and him and his buddies really attacked it. And by attack it, I mean they just did what whales do, is invest, and then they took their money back out. Ice Cream Finance felt very inclined to blacklist him. And so while doing that, what they did was pretty much just stir up a beast. And he made it his goal for about 3 to 4 months after that to continue to drain liquidity from that protocol. So with Ice Cream Finance specifically, that was one of the big first blacklisting events that I had ever seen. And also why I'm very against blacklisting.
Blacklisting thing is pretty crazy. Like you lock up their tokens. They can't even transfer them out.
Correct.
That's not happened much, I think.
He still holds those coins.
He has to.
He can't do anything with them.
I guess he does.
What's he going to do?
He couldn't even send them to the burn wallet if he wanted.
Yeah.
Especially not now.
That takes the entire spirit of what we're trying to do away.
Right? It's like instant centralization.
Exactly. It's just like taxes, which I know there's a place for taxes and all this. I hate taxes so much, but I hate blacklisting even more. It makes no sense to me. Why don't you blacklist this wallet? Why don't you blacklist? We're not blacklisting wallets, man. Like people are gonna trade how they want to trade. It's a free market. That's if we don't hold that one core value, what are we doing here? If we're not trying to make finance better, especially for the retail people like me or you or anybody in DeFi for the most part, what are we doing here? It's disgusting. So the fact that they blacklisted him and now they're rugged, I mean, I hope they're not U.S. based because the new department that our government just made is probably going to find them.
The department. Maybe they should find him.
I,
Probably should find him.
I agree with that. I hate
Oh,
the government, but I'm all for it. People need to
they
be
have a place.
punished.
They keep the internet on. They keep the cereal in the grocery stores. I don't know.
I
Yeah,
agree.
marking it up like there's
Yeah,
no
they're marking
cereal
it up.
coming next month, but it will be. There will keep
There's
being
news
cereal.
places. There's a bunch of news places driving up a bunch of fear about that. No more meat next month.
Bunch of propaganda.
Mm-hmm. There's plenty of meat because no one can afford it.
Damn right.
Back. This is the meat show.
This is the meat show, giving you all the info about the current meat condition in America.
All right. This is interesting because I know you had talked about in your Twitter spaces about the size of some teams for these like Cadena miners and stuff. But this sort of ties into team member size and things like that. But another DAO, Panda DAO, is ending after too much internal conflict between team members. After launching close to a year ago, Panda DAO is calling it quits after internal struggle from team members. One core team member tweeted, "Too much time in governance, too little time in development, too many voices in price, too tired, and refund it all." So there's a few talking points, and talked a bit about this in the intro, but there's burnout in the space. So I won't linger on this, but people get burnt out as hell working on these teams. Um, and then I think something we can all sort of touch base on is team unification. Making sure every team member is on the same page.
Yeah,
Yeah.
unified teams are absolutely essential, and I think it starts with a leader, right? I won't toot my own horn. I won't. Maybe a little.
No, not you. Never you.
He says
Not
as the
Austin.
trumpets blare.
But right, I run the protocol. I make the decisions, but where I differ is that I take suggestions to heart. I take criticism to heart. I listen to my team members. In fact, I involve my mods in important decisions. I am only as good as my community that backs me. So my team really is my community, and I put that forward because that's what DeFi is at its core. But unified teams are essential. I try and make sure that all my team members are happy. I try and make sure that there's the least amount of conflict. And if there is conflict, I address it. That's what I came from. I came from a background of doing that. And there's a lot of people there in DeFi that don't have that background. They're young kids. They probably don't deal with a lot of conflict from mommy and daddy. And I'm not saying this is for Panda DAO, I'm sorry. But I'm saying, speaking in generals, is that these people haven't felt adversity. I have been through plenty of adversity in my life. Dylan can attest. And I understand what it means to work in a team and to be team based, and I enjoy that culture of teamwork and what it produces. And so unified teams in DeFi are absolutely essential. And a lot of times these people are just getting together because it works in that moment, but later on have no resolution to conflicts, no end leader in mind to make a final call. And what does that do is it causes spinning wheels. At the end of the day, I know eventually I have to make a choice, and I take all of the information that I can, and then I give out the end result. Like I'm giving counsel, and then I make an end result based on that.
Right. And I mean,
go ahead.
I think if you talked in your intro about your background in the fiat mining, your real job. Uh, you were working with people, you were managing people. Like I have here, like having decision makers with the experience to do so. Right? Like if you don't have experience, like maybe hurting someone's feelings, making a decision, you should not be anywhere near making decisions on a protocol.
Yeah,
Right?
I've fired like 20 people based on work performance. People that I call my friend. I've
And
I've been
brother.
yeah, I've been through it, and I know what it takes. And so that's kind of the business background that I had going into this that led me into a good experience being able to run a project. But a lot
Yeah,
of
and
people
you
aren't
take
able to do it.
I mean, it's like when I was, in my young 20s, which is when a lot of these people are starting up like crypto protocols. Like you don't have that experience. Like
Mm-mm.
you can think you have it, like to actually do it or say something's a bad idea, like that's hard. But you
No,
have to be able to do it.
Yeah.
it is. So back in my fiat mining days, 2 days after I turned 21, I got shifted from part-time dock worker to full-time salaried supervisor. I immediately got put over um, 7 guys on forklifts that I went out drinking beers with, watched football games with. I got put over 20 guys driving semi trucks that were significantly older than me, and I was a 21-year-old punk. I just interview well, so it at 21, I didn't know what the fuck to do about disciplining somebody or having those tough conversations. And it's one of those things that you have to have. I mean, I've seen Austin make extremely tough decisions I wouldn't want to have anything to do with. Um, but without that background, I don't think we would be in this position right now, making a podcast about walruses,
Yeah. I mean,
which is at the end of the day is what this is about.
Technically, it's not entirely untrue, right? Because I did a big chunk of work for Walrus when it launched, but then sort of my workload dissipated to almost nothing, right? Because everything was set up. I was
Right.
just waiting for the next ad campaign. And Austin, you would come to me and he's like, you're not getting no more shares. Like,
yeah.
you good with that? I'm like, yeah, I'm good with that. But like, you essentially fired my ass, right? Like, if I was still eating up all those shares, you'd have less money to do stuff that needs to be done.
Yeah.
Yeah, those conversations are difficult because it's a lot of anonymous people, and I'm not anonymous. And there's all kinds of internal conflict that happens in these protocols and like stuff that's unseen. And obviously, that's not something I need credit for, but it is something that I need to speak about because it's part of what makes my team, better. Is that I do have to make these decisions. I do take all of the hate for the decisions, and anybody I bring on my team, I wholeheartedly believe in and I back. Right, there is no conflict to the public because that stuff is handled by me, and all decisions are made by me because that gives 1 point of anger or happiness to me. And I take that heat so that others can flourish in what their position is. Top Gun can continue to be a community manager. Beyond can continue to do the treasury. So that is my responsibility. And there's a lot of people that don't want the heat. They don't want the hate. There was a FUD thing that started with Frozen Walrus, the treasury, and the treasurer, and everything else. I was on an Ask Me Anything at 3 o'clock in the morning. Within 10
Yup.
minutes, I sacrificed everything to get here. So I know what it means. I know what it takes. And there's a lot of people that will just not be able to do it. And so, invest wisely in projects and understand who you're investing in. And I think that I've made a lot of things public that I probably shouldn't have. I'm way more available than I should be. But it was essential for me because I wanted people to see what it's like to run a project the right way. I wanted people to see what it's like to for someone from my background to be able to run a project in the way that I have and be successful at it because I think that it can actually change the space for the better. And there are people that emulate some of the things that I do, and so that's a kind of cool moment for me is that I'm seeing people emulate some of the ways that I speak or do the things that I'm doing, and that's nice because that means I'm actually doing the right thing and people are taking to it better.
I think it goes back to the passion thing we were talking about earlier. If I had a normal management position still at a company and like the 3 a.m. thing happened, just for example, hey, I need you to hop on this conference call at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd tell them, get fucked. Uh, but it was Austin. So I not only, I, I wouldn't have told him that anyway, but at the same time, I couldn't. I mean, like Frozen Walrus, I feel is, and I hope everybody feels this way, but it's our protocol. It's everybody that's ever put money into it. It's your protocol. Austin just happens to be behind the wheel of the ship. But at 3 a.m., I didn't hesitate. We were on the Ask Me Anything. We both sounded dog tired, and we were not in the mood to do an Ask Me Anything. We were going to do one the next day, and
Yeah,
Austin said we're going to.
that was during all of that extreme pressure that I was already facing from Walrus during
Right.
this bank run. So I was already in that burnout phase. But my commitment to this community and my projects are unwavered. I'll always put them first.
Oh, it's passion.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
I mean,
really is.
it's necessary.
Yeah, for me, and to speak back on the teams, we had a point to talk about teams that are appropriately sized. Is that like I understand that as well as that scaling my team based on it. A lot of people go for big teams and then you can't pay any of them. And then you think that the community owes you a payment to those teams. I started super grassroots. I started pretty much doing everything myself, minus the graphics, of course, Dave. Dylan wasn't even involved at that point that heavily yet. Beyond came in as my treasurer, but eventually it was just me making those decisions, and still is. I didn't have a lot of people in my corner. I've scaled my team size based on that and through networking. And now obviously Glacier has a much bigger team because it's a much bigger project. I've pretty much took all excess out. I'm not trying to boast something I'm not. And I think that's what, makes it special.
Right, and you can add people later on. Like for example, like I have some pretty lofty goals for this podcast. We're 4 people right now. We got myself, you two, and then we got Havoc on the Twitter, right? And he's gonna be running some ad stuff too. But like, I didn't need to launch with 10 people. It'd be cool to have 10 people helping out, But like, we need 4 people right now. When we expand and we grow and we need more, we'll get more, But and then if we make things efficient and we need less, like we'll deal with less too.
I agree. Yeah, this is
Um,
cozy as fuck. I'm digging it so far.
mm, I got 2 computers running in here, so it's a little
Ooh.
more than cozy for me.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's just a sauna.
We
All
passed
right.
we passed the hour mark, guys, and no dead air. Congratulations to our first podcast, no dead air so far. Who would have guessed that I could have kept talking over anything?
Right.
And
Not
you had
you.
like an hour AMA right before.
And I have another thing later tonight. I'm gonna be talking.
Yeah, we're about halfway. Not even halfway. We're not even halfway. That's fine. These next sections could go a bit quicker. We have a couple longer ones at the end, but we are going to pivot though. On that note, we have our new and upcoming section as well as the sponsor updates. Obviously, if you hadn't guessed, the show is W.L.R.S. Radio, which stands for Walrus. Frozen Walrus is this podcast like premium foundational sponsor at the moment, so they do get quite a bit of airtime from us. And so if you hear us talking about Frozen Walrus a lot, it's because Frozen Walrus helped make this podcast happen. With that, we're going to talk about a new project, Walrus Anglers Club, which, Austin, you can continue talking.
Sure.
What is it? What's the Walrus Anglers Club?
Walrus Anglers Club is a collection of 10,000 beautiful, artistically created NFTs that are themed around, of course, walruses. And what it is buying a portion of the profits from miners that we will be leasing and ordering in New Zealand, which uses mainly hydro power. And so when you buy an NFT, you get a portion, 1/10,000th of the profits from that. Of course, there's a ton of intricacies. We do have a white paper on it. But majority of it is that it's 10,000 NFTs that will be minted and start on the 30th.
All right. And it's on AVAX, right?
It is on AVAX.
All right. Then we have another project on here, which you might have heard about, you might not have. It's Truth Seekers, I think is a couple DeFi vets have put together a project.
Sure. I mean, I can speak a little bit on it since I know Aaron so well, Dow King. So they are a protocol that is going to launch, and what they are offering is, of course, a token. But past the token, they're offering a couple services through MetaMask, a MetaMask clone, that they'll take a portion of the profits per transaction. So it's a non-custodial wallet, and it will track people and their wallet history based on what they do. Say, get involved with Tornado Cash, they'll give you a risk rating based on that person that you're trading or sending into, and what they're involved in. So it's a huge scope of a project. But I know Aaron, he works really hard. They're marketing the crap out of it right now, so everybody's probably already heard of it in the DeFi scene. But yeah, so there's a lot of plans for the tokens in the future. It's a pretty cool project. I see that there's a lot of these MetaMask clones or add-ons getting put in. So I'm super interested to see the kind of the revenue that it brings in. But it is a huge scale of a project, right? Like a MetaMask wallet, like a non-custodial wallet, the amount of security that goes into it, it's $500,000 to $1 million just to develop easily.
Yeah, I mean, so are you saying it's MetaMask season now?
It's MetaMask season, baby. That's the new trend.
All right. I do think we have talked about getting him on the show. He doesn't know it yet, but he's going to be on the show.
Oh yeah, I'll get him.
I'm
100%.
sure he'll do it. So we'll talk more about Truth Seekers when he gets on the show. Now we have our show sponsor update. Here's a shameless plug for Walrus. If you don't want to hear about show sponsor updates as much, you can sponsor this show. All you gotta do is email WLRS radio info at Gmail. That's right, Gmail. And you can say, I want to sponsor the show, and we'll talk about your stuff instead.
If you've got a bakery in downtown Chicago, I'll talk about it. You got to send me
Big on bakeries.
But you got to send
You
me.
have a tomb fort called Thod Walrus. We'll talk about it.
There was a tomb fork that launched called Not Snow.
Oh, that was a good one.
Yeah, it rugged, but unlike Snow, that did not rug. Just had some trials and tribulations.
I think when you do your standard emissions in like what 3 weeks or 4 weeks or whatever the heck it was.
4 fucking weeks, and we are pegged for 3.5 weeks of that. Only by me and my communication skills. That's where I got my legs in DeFi, baby. Trial by fire. That was an insane intro to my DeFi career.
Yeah, I gotta tell you, like, I don't know if it's just me, but I love arguing with people. So when like the fudders come in, it's like, ugh.
Yeah.
Get ready, like my wife will send me a text. She's like, "Hey, something's going on in this Discord," and I'm in there, like
ready,
getting spicy.
Oh, dude, Dave! If you don't know, Dave is he can hit you with a quick one. He is witty as hell.
I stick to the facts too. Like I'm not gonna make fun of your mother.
Yeah. No, he'll hit you with some reality and have you second guessing ever typing in that Discord. I've seen it happen. I always love his banter that he has.
But back to it. Our show sponsor is Frozen Walrus this week. And you can talk about Glacier Finance.
Sure. Glacier Finance is the next big product that Frozen Walrus is producing. It is a balancer tech. It's a balancer style DEX. Using the balancer DEX, tech. Sorry, tongue twisted here. And pretty much what that is it allows you to build LP with a multitude of tokens, up to 8, with any type of weighting system similar to an ETF. And so it's a really
Don't say that too loudly. The SEC is going to come and pound down your door or something.
So yeah, Frozen Walrus is of course producing it. We've linked up with the Magic Finance team, so Almost Owen, Jimmy, and Avery and Vincent, and they have came on. The scope of the project is getting quite grand because we wanted to change the tokenomic structure for the emission token, which is Glacier. And so we're really working to really find benefits for Glacier at launch. And I really think because there is no balancer DEX on AVAX, that what we're able to offer with it is going to be really nice. And I think that it will be blue chip. I think that we'll be contacting some of the bigger protocols and trying to get them involved. And there is no real good DEX on Avalanche being offered right now with this kind of tech. And I think that it's great to try and get the market share of it right now. And I think we can build a kick-ass DEX, and it's going to be synthwave themed, which I'm excited about.
80s baby.
All 80s.
80s are big right now.
80s are all the hit.
I got my meatloaf shirt on just for it.
It's my favorite style.
All right. So I'm gonna say the words. It's 3 letters. When?
Yeah, when?
Do we know when?
When? So our original goal was like early October, but I'm extending that out a little bit. I want it to be ready, and by ready, I mean fully thought out, fully fleshed out, and developed in a way that I feel confident that when it releases, it's a full-fledged product that works seamlessly, UI, contracts, everything. And if you didn't know, Balancer has about 55 contracts base model, with different, strings getting pulled. So, we've just started getting the meat and potatoes of it. Jumpman has been working on the front end. Vincent and Jimmy have been emulating it on the back end. But we should start getting working models up for the tokenomics. We should have the docs out pretty soon. So I'm thinking mid to late October.
That's awesome. And I think
Same.
too, like it's good timing, right? Like everyone's looking for consistency, from an investment, and this looks like it's going to be able to deliver on that.
I hope so, yeah.
All right, we're gonna hop back into some more news here. In the Frozen Walrus Discord, we have a sort of like pitch your ideas for this show, and one idea came from JC, and it's actually a pretty meaty topic since this is the meat show. I guess not all countries support this as meat, but Doge, right? So we're going to talk DogeChain. They have a cult-like following and could be an early money play. What projects are actually working, and how do we bridge money over?
Yeah, I've actually messed with DogeChain before. We were actually going to build a tomb fork on it with Magic because they launched a Magic swap on there.
Yeah, I saw they had they have a auto compounder farm vault on there.
So DogeChain
They
wasn't
did.
actually developed by the Doge token creators. It was developed by the community. And there's been some shady stuff happening with it, but it looked like it was baseless FUD. So I don't know to the extent of that. If you don't know, Yoda Swap actually has some really unique features for a DEX. It's actually really cool. Doge Swap, of course, and Kibble Swap. So
Yep, there's actually 3 dexes and there's 3 projects running. I think there's probably more than 3, but there's only a few bigger ones. But yeah, there's 3 dexes you can choose from. And they also have LibDogeCoin, which is not a project as much
a statement
as it is like a library of building blocks. If you're looking to or building on DogeChain, so I mean it's like something that's growing.
So to get into it, before you had to send DogeChain, you had to send Doge tokens to an address, and they converted it to XDoge. Now I think they have an actual native bridge through Binance. But before you had to go through like certain exchanges like KuCoin and stuff like that before you could get into it. But now it's much different. I think there's the volume's dying down a little bit on it because it's not as new. There's no more degens. But when it first launched, buddy, it was like BSC, full steam ahead, shit coins getting posted everywhere of all varieties.
Right, and I think that's sort of like how we were talking about BNB. Like, if you're looking for like some high risk play and you want to buy a lottery ticket, like DogeChain, when like shitcoin market hits, it could get bonkers.
I would take an extra special look at Yoda Swap. They're extremely intelligent, and I think they are connected to the team of who created Doge Swap or DogeChain. And I think that they have some big shit planned. If DogeChain is to survive, I would look at Yoda Swap.
Now, Austin, is that financial advice?
I mean, it's not really telling you to buy anything. I'm just saying look into their technology and the stuff that they're producing because they have a next level DEX. Buy it all, baby.
Slap the wrist. All right. I did some digging, and I pulled a few of their like highest liquidity, highest volume projects. These numbers were pulled before our last team meeting, so Thursday. Thursday. So they're a week old. Nom, which is Doge Eat Doge, which is supposed to be Doge's response to Shiba Coin, which was the response to Dogecoin. I don't know. It's a coin.
A little back and forth. I'll
But
be
they
interested to
have
see what this is next week because I bet
they
it's new
have
projects.
$210,000 in liquidity. I know like real projects that don't have that. So
Right.
like it's got some
Yeah.
LP in there. And it
Yeah.
had a 24-hour volume on that day that I checked of $105,000.
Yeah, it's not bad for some grassroots chain that got developed. It's pretty rinky dinky. I don't enjoy the format of any of DogeChain. That it's all like memey and I
It's
really
wicked
like.
memey. Like
Yeah, I like a clean front end. Honestly.
so this is like if you want to go nostalgia mode and do like Web 1.0, you go there and you'll see some like GIF backgrounds and like a lot of MS Paint work. Another
I
big
love that.
project on there is Doge Solar, which I almost made the technical emotional pick. But I didn't.
It's a
It's a
2D
2D
metaverse
metaverse
project.
project with 26,000 liquidity and a $10,000 daily volume.
They're running out of steam. It seems these
Yeah,
projects.
that yeah, they had some good volume a couple days, but
They had a
10,000
lot
is
of
not
reflection
regular.
tokens launched because reflection tokens can be made in about 10 seconds from anybody. But that was really popular at the very beginning, and now people are trying to build like real projects on there, so it's going to take some time to adjust.
Yeah, and I think the chain token still relies or is tied to the Doge price, right? So you can sort of invest in Doge chain by investing in Doge to a sense.
Yeah. And Doge has been around
Um,
forever. It's almost like 8 9 years old now. I mean, it's an old project. So there's a lot of people that bought it for a moon bag.
yep. The next one, which is eGold, which is just Doge backwards, pure meme
Oh,
coin. Yeah. It has 6% fees, 2% goes to liquidity, and 4% to quote unquote development. 136K in liquidity and 9K volume. But that was a high volume. I think it was closer to like 1 to 3K a day.
Yeah, I mean, there's
I
gonna be
saw the name on there.
it's gonna be a bunch of
Uh,
shit coins, and that's what these
Yeah.
are.
EGOD. I didn't even recognize that it was Doge backwards.
I
That
didn't
Doge
either.
Solar 2D metaverse project. Can you expand on that? What the fuck
Can't
does that
expand
mean?
on that.
Nobody can expand on that. These are just buzzwords.
I was gonna say metaverse is such like a buzzword at this point.
It is indeed.
Metaverse. All right. That's it for Doge stuff. Um, Helium blockchain, which is a proof of coverage thing where you can sort of mine with like a radio receiver type of thing.
I have one.
It's right
How's
beside
it?
you, isn't it?
No,
How is it doing?
it's doing
I
like
like
shit.
wanted to get into it, but like I live in an area and I looked at the map and there was like nobody.
That
And
is
it's
exactly
like
what I'm experiencing. So I actually lived
sort
in
of
a more urban area where it would have done much more for me. But when I moved, I'd gotten it delivered here. It was during my move to my new home, to my hometown, which is much smaller. There's no one around me doing it. I left it on for a little while and made nothing, and so I didn't feel like messing with it because I was so busy with Walrus. I do love the tech of it. It's pretty much Internet of Things, where internet is pretty much free and available for everything. So like your dog collar, if it gets Wi-Fi, it's able to connect through all of these hexagons that connect their area of service via you all. Everybody that invests in a Helium miner that is able to give coverage, it's like a free internet. And so it's cool.
yeah. And if you're in a city or a decent suburb, like it's actually got quite a bit of adoption. But if you leave, you're done. Like, and the miners only really pay well if you're near other, let's say miners,
Or
but
you
they're
can
not
have an
miners.
antenna that's dedicated to a more high traffic area, which is what I need to do, and point it towards one of the bigger cities in my area.
There you go. You could be like that kid in like
Stranger Things.
2002. That's a hard pivot, but that kid in like 2002, they were like an MIT student. And they like it was shortly after 9/11, and they had made a necklace out of computer chips and batteries and stuff, and they wore it into an airport. Right?
Ooh,
You you could like it didn't go well for them,
no.
but they could do that. You could smuggle your helium miner into like an airport or something.
Just stick it up somewhere.
Stick it somewhere.
I was thinking more of like Dustin on Stranger Things.
Oh
His
yeah, with the
gigantic
ham
radio.
radios.
Yeah.
Damn, maybe I need to do that.
Dusty Buns.
I was on vacation and I got a Hellfire Club T-shirt.
Oh,
I was like,
Nice.
My
like, people are
fiance
gonna love this.
loves Stranger Things, and so do my kids. I actually love. I think Stranger Things hit the mark so well on the time period. One of the best shows I've ever seen to capture a time period so perfect, with the music choice, with the atmosphere, and I mean everything that the people
How
wear.
people behaved too, right? Like
Yeah.
those kids are out on their bikes till like the sun is already down, right? Even with like people disappearing in murders, it's like you better be outside.
Yeah, it's an awesome. I love Stranger Things.
What do you remember about the 80s personally, though, Austin?
That I wasn't born yet is probably the most notable feature of
But
the
it
80s.
carried over into the early 90s. Like
It
we
definitely did.
like experienced like a chunk of that.
You know what I miss
I,
about the 90s is, like, honestly, what I miss so much about like TV and like the structure of media is that you didn't have a choice. You didn't have so many choices with TV, and like you had these ads, and they were like this nice little break you got from TV, and you didn't get a choice. You got what was on, so you were up late at night. Maybe Fresh Prince of Bel Air was on, and you got to watch Fresh Prince of Bel Air. But maybe the next day or in the morning, you saw that Pokemon was on reruns. You didn't get that choice, and you were just happy with whatever was playing. And so that's really what I miss. You don't get that with streaming services. I just sit there for an hour and scroll for some shit show that they got produced in like a year.
And you binge watch it in a single day. You don't have to wait a
Exactly.
week.
We're suffering from success in this with
Too
everything
good.
we're doing. Yeah, we have
Anyway,
it too good.
Helium is moving to Solana after a governance vote passed.
I fucking hate Solana. Hot take.
That the community is pretty split on that. Why the fuck are you going on Solana? We'll talk. Did I even put this in the thing? I do. It's the next topic. So why not Polygon, right? Polygon's kind of old news, but they also have like a lot going on more than Solana. So I'm gonna pivot here right into Matic Polygon. Are they poised for a massive bounce back when the bull market returns? Matic has recently partnered with some big names, including Meta, which is Facebook, and Disney.
Yeah, they're huge. I mean, Matic.
They're gigantic.
When I first got into DeFi, when I was looking at layer ones to invest in via like Coinbase and stuff, it was actually Matic. I was super bullish on Matic at around 80 cents. And that was during the bull market. Of course, everything's deflated. But Matic has ZK rollups, which I think are essential to DeFi mass adoption because it's like this ease of use that you get where all of the crazy shit happens in the back end and the end of line user experience is much more seamless. So super bullish on Matic. I don't invest in it anymore, and I don't actually use their chain anymore. But I do think that they have a very good chance at a huge bounce back. You don't have people like Meta and Disney throwing money at just anybody unless they're buying them out to shut them down. And I don't think that's the case here.
They're not buying them out. They're partnering with
exactly.
them.
So
right.
And I had pulled this actually for next week's news thing, but we can talk about it now. Disney's actually hiring like a DeFi like legal person, right, to like figure out what they can do and what they can't do and things like that. So like the wheels are moving, and if they're taking those wheels over to Matic, like when these like big adoption phases come, like that's a bus you might want to be on.
And this is happening in a bear market, right? And this is what I said about this bear market.
When you build.
Yeah, this is what I said about this bear market that's so great for crypto is you see all this mass adoption, the floor is raising intrinsically because of the adoption we're seeing in DeFi. And by the next bull cycle, it's going to be so much more successful. It's going to be a breath of fresh air because regulations will come in, making it less of a sketchy place. It'll be more easy to use because people are trying to find ways to integrate deeply with this DeFi that we have. And so DeFi now will not be what DeFi is in 5 years. It's just it's so fast paced, and I'm just so excited to be a part of it. I really do love this. So I'm excited, and I think that Meta and Disney partnering, they're clearly excited about DeFi as well. So it's good news.
Those are just two of the many. I mean, Coca-Cola's on there, Reddit, Starbucks. There's so many that are with Matic. But the Disney NFTs are super interesting.
Oh yeah, those are on. They're on like Vivi though, right? And
Yes, but they're called golden moments. So I mean, it's stuff taken out of their vault in like a 3D art form that I guess you purchase. But you
I
got to
tried to
think of
get
the
some.
scope. Really?
I tried to get some at the mint. It was impossible. Like I was there, like finger on the trigger, like at 2 o'clock or whatever the hell hour it was. Slamming that key. Nothing.
Well, bots
What
Bought
does
it out
bots
instantly.
got a hold of it, man. Like
I
there's no
guarantee
way.
it.
Yeah, the
But you got to
resale
think of
value on
what
that.
all Disney owns. I mean, they own Marvel, they own Star Wars, they own, all the original Disney stuff. I mean, there's so much that Disney owns that like in it, everything that they own is a collectible.
They bought
So,
Fox too, right?
Like
yeah, now they own like Alien versus Predator and
think of the
shit like
world
that.
think of the world we're moving to, and since I love cyberpunk aesthetic so much and like this cyberpunk theme of like everything is moving digital to some extent, these people are trying to get in front of, okay, they've curbed the market of physical assets and selling this marketing stuff and physical products. Now is the time to be on the cusp of owning digital stuff, because everyone engages digitally now through Facebook, through Meta, through virtual reality, through whatever it is. Everybody is
Discord.
everybody is moving to digital because nobody wants to deal with being outside ever. And so the integration is becoming so deep, and people are seeing that, oh shit, I can own my own assets, and that's really empowering to you as a user. But it's also really empowering because it's a new thing to sell for these companies. So it's really cool to see it happening in real time while we're working in the space.
Yeah, absolutely. I had something I was gonna say and I totally blanked on it, but I'll think of it later. Um, to add into a new section. It's like a DeFi intro series, where we sort of each week we'll cover a small topic on something involved with getting into DeFi. So this week we're going to talk about research. You may have you've definitely seen the acronym floating around DYOR, right? Do your own research. But like nobody talks about what that is, right? So let's talk a little bit about what counts for research for you, and what are some tips that you can give to maybe people coming into DeFi or who are new to DeFi, how they can research better, do better research.
Yeah, I actually released a video specifically about Discord, and kind of the red flags and what to look for good projects, right? Because what we can look for now is good projects, or good teams anyway. And with that, hopefully they produce good products and good prices. So do your own research to me is being more involved than looking at FOMO or looking at a shill and say, oh, this could be the next 100x. Right now in the bear market, we don't get that luxury. So doing your own research requires you to go in, look at the holders list, go on Snowtrace or the scan of that chain, right? Like Avalanche's Snow Chain, BSC scan. Look at the holder list. If there is a small amount of holders, and they're touting that there's a large amount of holders, look for discrepancies. Look for discrepancies in what the team is saying and what the chain is saying. The chain cannot lie. The team can. Allow yourself to learn contract interaction to some extent, and you can't go wrong. There's a lot of people that do tons of research on chain. Is this person doing what they're saying they're doing? And all of that is verifiable, and that's the beauty of DeFi. It's permanent. It's forever. And so do yourself a service. And my biggest research tip is learning contract interaction. What did this contract interact with this contract, and this wallet interact with this wallet? What does that all mean? And being able to dissect that into a manner where you can say, this is what this context is, and I can say that it's a good thing or a bad thing, right? And so that would be my tip for doing your own research.
Yeah, I agree. And I sort of have like three phases, I think, to research when I do it, right? I have like it's like a discovery phase, right? That's your Twitter, right? If there's some guy shilling something on Twitter, that's just a discovery. You're finding out that there's a thing called this and it might do this, right? YouTube, same thing, right? If there's an influencer, he's talking about a project, that's just you now know about its existence. He's saying it's the greatest thing since sliced bread, it doesn't matter. All you know is that it exists, right?
Yep.
Then you go to sort of like a research phase where I think you read their white paper, right? Which is not always up to date, or they might not do what the white paper says, right? But you read that white paper, and then if you're still interested after the white paper, like park your ass in their community. Like you don't even have to say anything, right? But sit there for like weeks, right? See what happens when something bad happens. See how the team responds. See how the community responds. So that's sort of like a confirmation phase, right? So you have discovery, research, then confirmation.
Yep. I agree with that.
You've got a Dave system essentially. You've got discover, adventure, which is like diving into all the meat and potatoes of it. Then you've got the vesting stage where you put your money in, and then you've got the earn stage.
Damn, Dylan, did you just make that up?
I haven't figured out that E part yet.
Earn. Oh yeah, no, we don't get to earn a whole lot here.
No, it's not about earning here. It's about the members.
See, you guys are so much smarter than me. If I jump into a Discord, I want to see what the people are talking about. I want to see the overall atmosphere of everything. Is the team responding? Are the mods active? Can they answer the questions? And maybe I'm spoiled because Austin is so like AMA oriented, but are these guys doing AMAs? Are these guys like talking about their product and what's coming up in the future? And a big one for me is if they're docs. If you don't want to put your face on a new project if you've been in DeFi for any amount of time, you've been rugged. It's just the sad reality of the situation. And if you're not willing to dox at this stage of the game, um, why the hell are you launching a project?
Yeah,
It
you
makes me
don't have the
question your
credentials.
motives.
You don't have the
Yeah,
credentials. You're not ready, right? And I understand that you could be from a different country where it's not accessible. Don't launch a project.
don't launch a project because if you're from one of those countries, you're also not going to be held liable for rugging a project. You're not going to see any kind of like judicial action against you. Um,
There's
there's
far less risk.
correct.
Run it
Get
from
in
the
trouble.
background and have somebody else, be with you, and you be like a silent partner or whatever else, and still make yourself known as like, I'm this person, but have somebody that has the same accountability as you and run that project with you. I'm sorry that your country or place of origin does not allow that stuff, but it should not be the stopgap or the barrier of entry for new DeFi users to have to succumb to that level, that this leader is not doxxed, right? If you can't put your face behind it, like I put everything on the line when I put my face on this shit, and I made that risk because I want the investors to feel that much safer.
We have no ill will,
Yeah,
you know?
I just don't. I want to be in this space for a very long time. And I think part of that is being able to expose myself and be this raw and to have this experience with you guys. So
Yeah, and like one more thing I want to add, like when you go in the Discord, you can ask questions and stuff, but don't ask like, is this a good investment for me, right? Because
You're never going to get the right
remember
answer.
remember what Austin said like an hour and a half ago, right? About how you need new money coming in to continue developing the project. Well, the person you're talking to, they have money in already, right? So of course they're going to tell you, yeah, get a ton of drip, dude. Drip's the next big thing. Drip, like now's your chance or you're done,
drip's
right?
hot.
Use my referral link.
Exactly. Like, I'll give you an airdrop. Like So the community, that's like the last. I love the community, but like for financial research, the community is not the right place to
Use
look.
it as
That's
another
not
indicator. Use it as an
right.
accessory to your original research. Hey, I've
Yep.
done all this research. I feel confident this project has meat. I think that it's going to go up. What's the community look like? And then say, oh shit, the community sucks. I'm not going to invest in it, right? Use it as an indicator and not the end all be all. And that's with every single aspect of research. Accumulate knowledge and then make a decision based on that. But do not build opinions based on other current investors. That would be insane.
And if the community's only saying this is going to the moon, when moon, shit like that, get out.
Yeah.
Get out.
I mean,
Yep.
I know it's memeable at this point, but
It is. It's a meme, and I'm not saying
But if
like
it's like the only thing going on,
right. Get out.
yep.
They've got nothing on the back burner. They've got nothing ready to go. Get out. That's my advice.
I'm with you.
All right, we're gonna move on to another
Ooh, I'm excited.
category here.
I'm excited for this one.
He's finally reading
so
things
happy.
show notes.
I'm so happy. This was the
Lame
coolest thing Austin ever did.
or flame or Austin picks a project every week. He did it a while ago and then he stopped. He probably didn't want to hurt his honor.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. It was for the care of my investors and not wanting to be in a bad light and speak ill on another project. And now I think that the gloves come off, and I want to speak freely about things that my experiences. I'm not always right, but I still have opinions, and I want to be able to express those freely.
Yep. So this is called Lame or Flame. Austin picks a project and then he talks about if it's lame, or it's a real barn burner.
It's a real barn burner. Yeah. So what's our topic, Dave? What are we talking about today?
The on-chain NFT project.
Boys and
To
girls.
give a little background, on-chain is a YouTuber. He sort of tries to cover crypto news. His big thing is like exposing scammer projects and stuff. But
At the
he's
cost
launching
of
an
has-
NFT.
Yeah, go ahead.
Launching an NFT.
Yeah. So I think it's best to speak a little bit about my prior knowledge of this individual, Oliver. I think that he makes entertaining content that he drove himself into madness of just being this character that went too deep, did little research, allowed his community to do the research, and then stuck onto anything that would make better content. I know for a fact this now because he's been doxxed. Some of his previous videos had been exposed. That he had shilled previous NFT projects, and it seemed that he hated all things DeFi. His grand gesture was to build this product in the U.S. That allowed it allowed devs to build. It was weird. It was some kind of big grand gesture notion that would never work in the current state of DeFi. Anyway, it came out recently that he released this NFT series, and regardless of whatever I think about Oliver and his content, these NFTs came out, and it's just important that I speak on them. So the fundamentals of the NFT is that you invest and you are able to get access to proof of stake nodes, similar to our proof of work miners. Now, here's my problem with the NFTs: is he burned all of his bridges, so I don't think that they'll mint very fast. He built no community other than people that were hot on the heels of burning down DeFi. So why would they invest in another DeFi project? The price tag was $1,000. He wants to sell a large amount of them. The code was a mess. He fired all of the developers after using them, to my knowledge. This is what I think. And so he is the only one, procuring any kind of funds from that. So it's just him. He claims that all devs need to be doxxed. Nobody knows what dev he used. He's only, I think, minted about 25 to 29 NFTs, resulting in about $29,000. And so now it's gotten even more drastic. He's actually closing off his Discord to anyone that isn't invested in the NFTs. So his Discord of 1,000 people that he barely crawled to, because there's only so many people that have that much hate in their hearts, is now being closed off. And that includes his mods, his unpaid mods who do not have the NFT are being kicked out of the server as well. He speaks about past actions and behaviors of other individuals that he hates on. And I feel that he's a leech and that this product is proving that because nobody is investing in him or his project, even though it has decent fundamentals. But he's proven himself to be this money grabber through all of these different, factors that I've just listed. And I think it's going to be a shit project because the NFTs are shit. They look like terrible art. It looks like a third grader got into Blender and made these NFTs. So no effort was really made in that aspect, and I think it's a money grab from his previous actions, his previous videos. He wants to be full-time in this. He had a failed Airbnb business that's now deceased ever since COVID, and now he is looking to make it big as a YouTuber, and that's exactly what he wanted to do, and that's what he's going for. He does not care about scammers in the space, although I care about scammers in the space. I put my shit on the line for that. And so all this goes to say, it's a big lame for me. Oliver's content aside, I think it is very funny, but he was affecting people's lives and did not have the story straight all the time. What he was touting, all of these DeFi projects are shit, and this is what he came up with for changing DeFi. I think it's weak. I think he went with, what he thought would get the most money. Sadly, it's not working out for him. So Oliver, if you're listening, good luck to you. I don't have any ill will towards you personally, but I think what you're doing here is clearly a money grab, and I don't think you'll ever sell out. So any investor that's buying one, good luck getting a node because it will take quite some time for those to mint out, and you will be a bag holder of $1,000 shit NFT, and good luck to you.
That's pretty flaming.
Yeah.
Wow. Got hot there.
Hey guys, by the
yeah,
way, that was completely unscripted. I have absolutely zero written down on that.
I'm hot. I mean, it got hot in here quick.
Yeah. I hate it.
You fired up?
I hate the hypocrisy of what he was trying to do and what he ended up doing. I think it's asinine that he put so much turmoil on all of these people, exposed them, doxed them, did not care about their well-being, and then chose to build this. Like, get fucking real.
I mean, it's interesting, like I haven't dug too much into it. I'm in the Discord, for now, lurking until I get kicked out because I'm not buying one. He hasn't talked too much about the return expected on your $1,000 investment.
Oh, no, actually he has. Hold on, let me read this to you, Dave. Based on our projections, if you compound those rewards for the next 5 years, you are likely to transform $1,000 into $100,000.
I would bet my mortgage that does not happen.
Well, I agree
I'm
with
gonna
you.
go buy one right now. I want $100,000.
In fact, touting that is some of the same shit he said that Liquid Capital and others, that it was a marketing gimmick.
100x.
I've heard he has a lot of grandchildren.
That's what people are claiming. He's something else, man. I came in this knowing what I was and my moral stayed intact, and that's what he said he was going to do. But this just feels like a complete left field approach by him. And
I think he wanted to buy ETH validators, right? Which is 32 Ethereum for one validator, and these validators pay 7% back in ETH, right around there, right? It's a very low interest rate because it's steady. It's a big token. It's not gonna die. He's banking on Ethereum itself.
The price of the moon.
That's where the 100x is. You can hold ETH on your own, lend it or whatever, and get your 7% without locking up your money in an NFT for a validator.
Correct. Exactly correct.
Crazy.
Yep.
All right. We're gonna jump back into some more games here. One more game actually. We're calling it Pick for Profit, and what we each need to do is pick a project, and whoever we're gonna say put $100 in. We're not really gonna put $100 in, and this is not financial advice. But basically, whoever's pick does the best or the least worst, I guess, in a bear market over the week gets the point.
I'm ready for that.
All right.
Let me know.
Hold on. I'm gonna.
I got mine picked out too.
All right, keep talking about how you have picks while I write some stuff down.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
came prepared, Dave. I read the show notes.
I don't need to really.
I wrote the damn show notes.
I'm off the cuff out this. I don't ever run on a script. I have
Nope.
this
Listen, when
pick.
you hold
and-
on, and you have the price pulled up.
Yes, I do.
Okay. All right. What's your pick, Austin?
eShare, EMP Money's share token.
Okay. What's it at right now?
$178.11. It actually just jumped up 2%.
They just peg or something?
They did not actually, but I love EMP. I love AJ. I know some of the things that they're working on, and I get alpha every once in a while as a project leader.
Alrighty. I'm gonna go last because mine's such a barn burner. So Dylan, you gotta.
I'm gonna go with an L1. It's somebody I think everybody kind of knows about. But when I was looking a while ago, I saw this was coming up. When I was looking a while ago, the price currently is at $7.77, and the full dollar valuation is $7.77 billion. I'm going with
Sorry,
Link
what?
this week.
I know you love Link. I thought you were about to say USDC, and I was about to fucking
No.
laugh.
No, it was
That's not-
$7.77.
All right, guys. I'm picking a project that on the 3-month chart has not only been in the green, but is the number 12 traded coin on Coinbase and has stayed there for almost a year, despite being the shit that it is. And in this 3-month time, has almost formed another support level, and that, my friends, is Shiba Coin.
Oh, that was a good one. That is a good one.
I've heard some people
Wow.
talking about Shiba recently.
That double, triple, quadruple 4112.
That's a great pick because they just did another burn feature, I think, on Shib.
I
think I read
called
that.
it Shib. It's Sheeb. Sheeb.
Sheeb.
You're a Sheeb.
Sheeb.
The coin's a Shib.
Sheeb.
Okay, we have those in the books, and that's definitely a W for me.
Yeah,
for the
that was a good
cocking.
one.
It's gonna be dead now. I have a ton of sheep staked.
Really?
I staked it, man. That was like one of the
For
first things I
bone?
staked.
Is it for bone?
I paid to ETH, gas, and everything. I thought I'd be getting more Shiba. It's not very high APY. It's like 1%.
Yikes.
But I figured if it's going to take 5 years to get to $1 or whatever the hell it says it's going to do, I got time. We do need to pick the Twitter contest winner. If you are just listening and you do not follow the Twitter page or see any announcements about it, we do have a Twitter. It's at W.L.R.S. Radio. We put out a question, and it's, what is crypto staking? And it's wrong answers only. And the best, funniest answer will win a Walrus Radio NFT. And this is sort of like a backstage pass NFT. You'll get one free mailbag message a month, and a couple other things, access to a private chat area. Right now there are 10 minted. We're giving out one, and then I'll probably sell the rest for like one AVAX or something like that. And we'll probably do 10 a week released until they're all done out, and we'll probably stop at like 1,000. So with that, we need to go through these comments here and pick the funniest wrong answer to what is crypto staking.
Let's
I
see.
found my answer that I like really a
Yeah,
whole lot.
why don't we all you have the Twitter up?
I do.
Austin,
I do.
want to pick one of your favorites? I'll pick one of my favorite. I have my favorite
Hold on,
pick,
let me look through.
and then we can duke it out.
Side note, while Austin's doing that, I have some breaking news here. As of 12 minutes ago, rapper Coolio has died at the age of 59. So R.I.P.
What?
Coolio.
Oh, jeez.
Keenan and Kel's theme song, man. Coolio was a good guy.
What the fuck? That's crazy.
So R.I.P. Coolio.
How did he die?
You just want me to get off Twitter. Looks like unexpectedly. Suspected heart attack. No official cause yet.
All right,
59 years old.
I've picked it.
Did you think he did cocaine ever?
I
read
would I would imagine he's dabbled.
Oh, he's definitely done PCP. Any rapper
Like,
that was ever around in the 80s did PCP.
I read some stuff that's like Dare magazine level FUD, but like, if you do cocaine a bunch when you're younger, like you can have heart problems like for the rest of your life,
Oh, that's not
even
fun.
if you stop doing cocaine.
That's
So
real.
don't do drugs, kids.
I've got my pick. What are we doing?
All right.
Dave, go first. This is your bus.
I think my favorite is rocket ship is fueled. He says, or they says, crypto staking is when you're barbecuing up some steaks while watching the charts.
That's pretty good.
I like that one. Austin, go ahead.
All right, Alex931022 responded and said, "Crypto staking is when you spend crypto to eat good steaks for dinner instead of becoming a millionaire in the next bull run."
I like
Well-
that one too.
Well, this man's never invested in crypto if he thinks he's buying steak with profits.
Yeah, man. Where the fuck
Trust
you
me.
investing?
What about that pizza Bitcoin guy? Like,
So I'm going with Moose Finance, who included a picture of one of my favorite characters, Buffy the Vampire Slayer. Crypto staking is when you say very cryptic things as you secure your tent to the ground.
Interesting.
I like that one. I like that one.
I'm willing to pivot my vote, I think, to Austin's pick because I did like that one too.
That is a good one.
Alex931022.
Let's all
let me find it.
let's all like his
Our first
I like
winner.
them all. So I think if you enter, you deserve a like. Like if you are putting yourself out there, you deserve a little heart.
That's very sweet, Dave.
Let's give them all hearts.
It matters. There you go. Let's get them blowing up.
And you want to explain to the audience how they can win next time, Dave?
Next time there will be a tweet on this Twitter page at W.L.R.S. Radio with a question. It'll come out a couple days before the show. You'll have a couple days to come up with an answer, and we'll, just like this show, come through and pick a winner. So that's how it is. You can also buy them on the secondary market too.
Of course.
Now, are we gonna advertise that tweet, or is this something you're gonna have to follow WLRS Radio on Twitter to find the question?
I will continue making announcements in the Frozen Walrus Discord, and then we'll probably talk about it with, some special guests.
I like that.
We're adding guests starting next week. So next week we have Chicken Chaser Crypto in his project, which I think launches tomorrow. Warfi will be one of his post-launch interviews.
Now, will there be two wars?
2 wars.
Two
Oh,
wars?
Jesus.
No, I'm actually excited about that guest. I just saw some gameplay of it. It's already a playable game, and it looks really
The
cool.
fact that it's a playable game,
Huge.
in this space, we need that. There's so much P2E out there, and you can't see my air quotes, but I did them.
Yeah, I'm with you.
There's so much P2E. It's just glorified NFT staking,
Yes.
Exactly.
which is
100%.
fine. It's fine, but it's not like a game,
Yeah, I'm excited to see that. I think a lot of people are, so I think it could be successful. So I'm pretty hyped to have him on and bullshit with him for a little bit.
Yeah, it's gonna be good, and he'll stick around for the news parts, and we'll have him play some games. So it should be a good time.
So bring your kids, come follow next time, and
Right.
and the format will get better and we'll get more efficient. And
Dude, I thought this
actually-
went great.
I honestly
It was a
enjoyed
pretty
the hell
good
out
run.
of this.
This
Two
is-
hours. I
Yeah,
mean,
fuck. I thought this went well. I expected bumps in the road, but I feel like they were very, very minimal.
yeah, we'll see how the audio comes out. We'll get everyone's audio balanced as best we can. It's hard when three people have three different microphones. We'll work on that. And then in the meantime, you guys follow the Twitter, WLRS Radio on Twitter. If you have a show idea or you think that a project that you're invested on should have their founder or dev come on as a special guest, you can send ideas to WLRSradioinfo@gmail. That's an open Gmail, and we check it, and we will definitely take your input into consideration. If you are anybody who's looking to advertise, same email address, WLRSradioinfo@gmail.com, and we will definitely hook you up with some juicy rates if you want some of this early ad space.
Get it
With
while the
that,
going's
thank you
good.
everyone for listening.
Yeah, thanks everybody. That was awesome.
And I think we do have a macro show coming out. We might release that Friday. We'll see.
Perfect. All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening. Our first podcast, and I'm freaking hype about it, man. I love this format. I'm able to just speak freely and talk about shit that I wouldn't normally talk about in an unstructured way. It's absolutely excellent for me. So if you're listening, thank you so much. And of course, special thanks to Dave, who put all this together and put a ton of work into it. And I'm happy that we're getting it put into fruition. So thank you again, Dave.
Yep, that is half the battle. Having an idea and then actually
Agree.
doing it.
Agree.
All right.
Thank you, Dave.
Bye.